I want to show you some boots here. They're actually my favorite winter boots, even though they're not made as a winter boot. This is the second pair I've owned. Gnats is the name. Got these a year ago for Christmas. I had my previous pair for many years. They're a rubber boot, so they're meant for wet weather. Terrifically light. They never crack, even after years of use. Most interesting thing is how warm they are. I've never had cold feet in these boots. But there's no liner in here. Same kind of material that Crocs are made of, so it's a kind of a foam. It's firmer though. It must have some pretty good insulating value to it because these are super warm. I really don't wear my boots with liners anymore. The thing that gives out on them is that you wear through the sole. These are probably about half worn now. The last pair I wore right through. A super rubber boot. I'm sure you'd like these. Don't get anything else. They never crack.
Well, this is coming well.
This is that Trex deck replacement thing. I work at it when I can. But I want to show you something I've discovered that's pretty impressive, and it has to do with how this stuff goes down and is fastened in a sort of invisible way. This particular product I'm using has a groove in the edge, and then there are these clips that fit into the groove on one side and the groove on the other. You drive this down and it holds the board down. And that's why you don't see any fasteners here.
They look kind of gimpy. I mean, just pieces of little plastic. I mean, might those not break or get brittle over time, or with kids jumping on the deck or something?
The deck board is still resting on the top of the joists, so it's not bearing any weight. It's just holding it down. I haven't used these before, so I really don't know how they age. Trex is a really good brand, though I'd be surprised if there's any problem. I have used other kinds of plastic clips over the years to hold composite deck boards down, and they've lasted perfectly. I can't over-stress how much better an installation like this looks when there are no visible fasteners. I could have just blammed down a whole bunch of, eyeball in some deck screws and...
The usual approach.
The usual approach.
You've never really been into the usual approach, though.
Nothing I do is usual.
I think the stone house behind us kind of indicates that.
Yeah, I'm kind of crazy, but, maybe some people want to hear about this. So this is what holds the boards down in most places, but it can't hold them down everywhere.
The outer pieces, for example.
The outer pieces, exactly. And in this case, this outer board is actually quite a bit thicker than the main board.
Oh, so yeah, that's like a full 1.5 inches, it looks like.
It's 1 3/8 in this case, actually, but I had to make this a different height than what supports that so that the top lines up.
Okay.
This board cannot be held with these clips because, well, even if this had a groove in it, which it doesn't, I could have routed one in, but the groove wouldn't really line up necessarily here, and even if it did line up, the clip would go in here, and there's no wood there. I've got spacers in here because I don't want water to sit between the boards.
Yeah, got to minimize wood on wood, eh?
Right. This outer edge of the last deck board, not the overhanging one, but I can't hold that down with a clip, but we've got a fairly hard to see little deck screw here. These screws aren't made by Trex, they're made by Fasten Master. I've used a bunch of their stuff before and I'm always impressed. These screws are specifically meant for holding down composite decking, and it's color matched. Very small head, so you wonder how on earth could a head like that hold a deck board down? Look at this. You got the regular threads that hold into the wood, and they're a right-hand thread. Tighten when you go clockwise, just like a regular deck screw.
Normal way, yeah.
But this thread here is a left-hand thread. This turns this whole section here into something that can hold the deck screw. It also cleans away any frazzled bits of the top. These screws are not supposed to need any kind of a pilot hole. You see it's got a bit of drill bit tip here. I can and I have gone through and just put a screw where I want, just drive it down, and that's that. But I find I get cleaner results if I pre-drill first. To be honest, when I was using these screws for the thicker edge piece, a couple of them did break. It's quite a lot of work to get through that 1 3/8 of composite deck material, and the screw broke off.
Could say that you were screwed.
I could say that. I'll let you say that. So I pre-drill. Doesn't take a whole lot of time. But it's pretty amazing to see this go in and to see it kind of suck down and form a nice, I think it's a pretty impressive result there.
Let's see it suck down.
Let's see it suck down. I've driven all the screws I want to drive right now, so I'm just going to put on a little scrap here. I'm through. Hey, they've gone to a lot of trouble to create a really nice driver bit here. It's kind of like a Torx pattern on the driver bit, but there's this little extra stick-out nubbin which interlocks with a depression in the head, so it just makes this whole arrangement much more likely to stay in place. If the driver bit were to round this out, you'd lose the nice looks. You'd lose the color, and it'd be all mushed up metal and not very nice. Now, here's the interesting bit. Watch how that just sucks in and does a nice, neat job. And what could be better than that?
That is so clean. Like, that's really small.
It's really small. It holds really well. Why would anybody have, how many barbecues do we have here?
Oh yeah.
Why would anyone have four grills? You know, I like barbecuing, but I've only ever known how to use 2 grills at once, not 4. The Weber company has come to us and say, we want you to make technical training videos for our team of technicians that travel to people's homes. So how to assemble them, how to fix them, depending on what's gone wrong. So there's about 4 more grills that I've loaned out to people. They might as well keep them and use them while we're waiting to do another repair video on them. So that's how come there's all these things here. One of the things about Manitoulin Island is that there's a lot of community music here. This choir performs twice a year. There's always lots of people who join it, and they bring some great music to Manitoulin, as you can hear. We've taken a rare trip off of Manitoulin and Bailey Line Road.
You're not filming me, are you?
And we're here to get our son Joseph, the guy who's in Knoxville, Tennessee, on an athletic scholarship. And his plane has just landed. This is the Sudbury Airport. It's 3 hours drive from our house. August to December seems like a long time in theory, doesn't it? But it sure does go fast. How was your trip?
Good.
It all went like clockwork today.
For once.
No, it often does.
Well, I maintain that half the time you have a hitch.
No.
Well, do you remember last year coming here
and going
night
back.
in the airport and going back?
A night in a hotel. Yeah, but that doesn't happen too often.
It does though.
This is long-term parking in the Sudbury Airport, and apparently seasoned winter travelers know they have to travel with a shovel in order to dig out. So, Mom, what do you have here?
Some prime rib.
Well, yes, we're having a little restaurant break before we head back to Bailey Line Road. Mr. Prime Rib in Sudbury. How many ounces is that, Joe?
16.
What's this, Christmas time again? It's only December 11th.
Christmas time again. A lovely package from my friends at Lee Valley Tools. Been buying stuff from them for about 40 years. They are a great company. I like them a lot. And this, unless I'm mistaken, is something that should help us with our wood cutting. Something called a pickeroon. Now, you mentioned to me, Robert, that your back was hurt when you were doing some wood, and that's what this is supposed to solve. Okay. Here is the pickeroon. We'll give it a try and see if it's long enough. But
Wow, that thing looks deadly.
made in Europe, I believe, and kind of sharp here. And the idea is that you thunk it down into the end of a piece of wood, and you can pick it up. So you don't have to bend all the way down to get your fingers under a piece of wood.
Defense mechanism for the zombie apocalypse.
Right. So this is a timber carrier. This is for clamping onto logs. And two guys, that would be you and me,
Yeah.
two guys would put us on our shoulder, and we can kind of
And carry the
carry
log between us. Yeah.
Yeah, probably just one end of the log. And yeah, I don't know. This seems kind of small. It's a good idea, but I mean, I'm not sure we really need a tool to pick up a log that's maybe only, what, 6 or 7 inches in diameter.
Maybe it doesn't have to be gripping around up to half the log to actually grip in. It looks
Maybe
pretty
not.
sharp.
Yeah, it is pretty sharp.
Good points on there.
Well, we'll give
Made
this
in,
Austria.
well, they know how to engineer. Great new tools for the firewood arsenal.
I'll get this out into the shelter. Come back next time, and you'll see this stuff in action. Thanks for watching. Come on back next Friday to see the pickeroon in action and a whole bunch of other things. Subscribe, like, and hit the notifications bell so you know when new videos come up.